Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course on Facebook Ad Basics. This is, of course, video number 1, which is the introduction. So here's the goal. This course intends to simplify things so that you can get your Facebook ads up and running easily. Now, before we jump in and talk about how to set things up, you want to make sure that you are in the right mindset. I'm going to dive more into this in video number 2, but for now, let's briefly touch base. You see, in order to succeed at Facebook ads, you must be willing to have patience. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is paid traffic requires a certain type of patience and understanding that your first campaigns and your first several $100s is most likely not going to convert into leads. That may be the case if you're doing something easy like local ads. But if you're doing something like nationwide or even worldwide ads and you're targeting everybody in a specific niche, let's say, for example, scuba diving, then that can be very, very hard to do. It's not necessarily really hard, but imagine you're competing with a lot more people. If you're only competing with local businesses, it's going to be a lot easier. All right. So bear that in mind. And if you're okay with that, then Facebook ads is a really, really good platform to be able to target people in a very specific manner. So you can target them all the way down to their relationship status, to their gender, to their likes, and all that. All right. That's why Facebook is so powerful compared to a lot of other paid traffic sources. That's not necessarily to say Facebook ads is better, but you get what I'm saying. Now, you also need to do a few things before you set up your ads as well. For example, demographic research, getting an idea of who your audience is. Now, what this means is that you're not going to be profitable right out of the gate. So don't expect that. Don't expect that. Have a budget in mind, whether it's $500, whether it's $1,000, and don't expect that you're going to be profitable immediately. You see, with Facebook, what you're trying to do is you're investing that money to figure out who is actually interested in your product. You're going to figure out the text that you use, which text is the winning text, which image is working well, and when you're able to get the right data on that, you will be able to use the right creative ad to target the right person. And we'll discuss more about this proper mindset in video number 2. But for now, let's cover what's inside this course. So here's a quick overview of what's inside this course. Video number 1, of course, is this video. Video number 2 is the mindset of Facebook paid traffic. Video number 3, we'll talk about who are you targeting, because that's very important. You can't just set up an ad and assume, okay, this is going to work for everybody kind of thing. Video number 4, we're going to talk about Facebook Audience Insights, which is a free tool that Facebook gives you access to, and it allows you to dig a lot deeper. Video number 5, we'll take all that information that we've researched in the prior videos, and we'll create a avatar profile, which is essentially what your customer is going to look like. Are they male? Are they female? Are they a certain age? Are they in a certain area? And of course, once you figure that out, that's a big crucial piece of the puzzle. We need to go over important ad rules in video number 6. You see, if you don't follow Facebook's rules, it's an easy and surefire way to get banned, and we don't want that. So we want to make sure that you understand what Facebook wants, what Facebook does not want, what Facebook sees as offensive, and all that. And believe it or not, it may not really be obvious. So that's why we need to cover these rules. Video number 7, we'll talk about the pixel, which is basically the tracking code that Facebook uses, why it's important, how you can create it, and all of that. And video number 8, we'll talk about ad campaigns. And video number 9, we'll talk about ad sets, And of course, video number 10 will talk about ads. So as you can see, video number 7, 8, and 9 is the technical aspect, but all the videos before that prepare you for that. All right, so getting started, you're going to need the following. You're going to need, obviously, a Facebook ad account. You will need a landing page, something that you're going to be promoting. And of course, you're going to need to have your creatives, like your text, your headlines, your images, and all that. So with that said, let's move on to video number 2. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2, and this is all about the paid traffic mindset. So this is very important because if you don't make this switch in your mind, then running Facebook ads is going to be painful, it's going to be tough, and it's really not going to make a lot of sense. In fact, this is the reason why most people just quit Facebook ads. And it wasn't until we started running tens of thousands of dollars of Facebook ads that we realized that this was very crucial. Obviously, the technical aspects are crucial as well, but this is a big piece of the puzzle. And if you can't get past this and you can't have this type of mindset, you're most likely going to say, okay, this doesn't work, and leave. And your competitor is going to come in and win. So to better understand what kind of mindset you need to be in, what I want to do right now is to give you a comparison so that you can understand the differences between different types of paid traffic. So we have Google Ads, which we're referring to where you go to google.com and you type in a search keyword term, and then you see the ad at the very top. So as you know, Google has many different types of ads. They have YouTube ads, they have Google display, banner ads. We're not talking about any of that. We're just talking about the search ads. So if you think about it, the type of person that is going to google.com, they're searching for a very specific thing. So if they're typing in scuba diving equipment, they are looking specifically for that. And with that in mind, you're able to put certain products that they want right in front of them. Now, the big difference between that and Facebook ads is that with Facebook, people are not searching for anything. They are there to socialize with their friends, their family, or their acquaintances, right? So the difference is that. Now, because of that, and because somebody is not really searching for a very specific item, you need to be aware that you really have some warming up to do, meaning they're not going to buy right away. Sometimes they'll buy right away, and sometimes it will take a few days to maybe even a week, depending on the product you're selling and where they are in the stage of buying. They could be not even aware that that product exists, or they may be aware that the product exists, but they're looking at your competitors, perhaps. So that's why Facebook ads is so different. Now, bear in mind that Facebook ads is very powerful because it allows you to target people, not only males and females, ages, and different interests. And in order for somebody to get into a specific interest, they will have to have visited certain pages related to that interest. So keep in mind, Facebook is very different than Google Ads. So now that you understand kind of how things are run and that you're not going to get results right away on Facebook, depending on what you sell. That in mind, you need to have an idea of what you are selling. So when it comes to local versus online, and what I mean by that is if you are, let's say, a plumber and you're trying to get leads to your plumbing company or your accounting company or your massage therapy company. If you're local, it's a lot easier because all you have to do is simply target a specific radius, zip code, and go at it. You don't really need to do a ton of market research and all that. Now, you do need to kind of get an idea of who you're targeting, but it's a lot easier than online. Now, what do I mean by online? Because we're online now. What I mean by online is you are targeting nationwide. So let's say, for example, that you're targeting a specific niche, like scuba diving. All right, so you're going to be competing with all the hundreds or even thousands of other people out there who are making ads on that niche. Versus with local, you might be only competing with one or two or possibly even no one else, right? So that's why before you can get into Facebook ads, you have to have an idea of what your strategy is, what you're promoting, and all of that. Okay, so this is where the mindset comes in. Is when you run Facebook ads, a lot of people think that, okay, if I invest $1, I'm going to get $1 back. And you'll see a lot of Facebook ad courses advertise that. But what you don't realize is that there's a lot of testing involved before you can get to that point. All right, especially if you're doing nationwide. If you're doing local, you got it easy and you could do everything demographic research, go straight to setting up a ad campaign and target radius. It's just that easy. But for the majority of you who are probably advertising a niche or a specific area, you're going to be doing nationwide. So you could be targeting USA, you could be targeting United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, or a specific country worldwide or in a different area. And if you are doing that, you're going to have a lot of competition. All right. So a lot of people think, okay, they run an ad, they invest $100 or even $500 and they get nothing back. So if you're doing nationwide and you get to that point, then a lot of people become frustrated and they quit. So that's why I really want to dial down into the mindset of paid traffic, that you need to buy data first. So you might have heard this before, but basically, if you run an ad or several ads, then what you're really trying to do first is to buy data. What that means is you have to be willing to put $500, $1,000, or even a couple grand to buy data. And buy data means that Facebook is so big that they have so many different interests, they have so many different types of people that you need to figure out where your customers are located within Facebook. And to do that, you have to run a couple campaigns first and foremost, look at the data, see what's actually working, see who is clicking your ads. And what's nice about Facebook is they give you a really good breakdown. So you can see who's clicking your ads, what age group, the text that you're using. Let's say you're using 3 different text and 3 different images. You can test and see which images, which text, which headline, which description, and which sales copy is getting the most clicks. So based on that data, you can then create another ad and then go out. So that's why it's very simple, but very important, because if you don't have this mindset switch, then you'll be like everybody else. You invest $500 or even $1,000. You don't get anything. You don't get any results and you quit. And you wonder why other people are out there running ads like your competitors and getting leads. So that's simple. I'm going to leave it like that. And with that said, let's move on to the next video. Hello and welcome to video number 3. This is all about who are you targeting. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they set up an ad assuming that it's going to convert, and it doesn't. Or maybe it converts a little bit, but then it crashes, it doesn't convert at all. And people begin to wonder, okay, is it the product? Is it the traffic source? What is it? The reality is with paid traffic, it's a very different animal, meaning you really need to know who you're targeting and pretty much everything about them. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So one of the easiest ways to kind of develop who you're targeting is to look at your past sales and try to develop what that person may look like. So if you have past emails, you have maybe a Facebook group or a community, take a look in there and try to kind of see a pattern. Now, if you don't have any past sales, then you're going to need to get an idea of this. You can create it, the demographic data, and obviously you can start testing, but you're not going to know 100%. All this is doing is simply giving you a first step. All right, so this is not set in stone. This is not going to be forever. So past sales is one thing. Another thing is to start developing and figuring out their demographics. And what I mean by that is, are they male? Are they female? What kind of age group are they? Are they young? Are they 18? Are they 20, 30, 40, 50? Or are they 65 plus? And beyond that, demographics wise, start to kind of paint a picture of who you are targeting. What do they like? What do they dislike? What does their lifestyle look like when they wake up? What do they do? What do they have a family? Do they have a wife? Do they have a husband? Do they have a spouse? Do they have a loved one? Do they have kids? Do they have kids that have gotten out of the house? When do they normally wake up? Do they have a day job? Are they retired? So you need to start creating this picture. So what sites do they visit? Do they wake up? Do they watch TV? What kind of television shows do they like? What kind of places do they go to? What kind of cars do they drive? What are things that they like to do? What is their occupation, like I said? Now, we're going to be able to use the Facebook Audience Insights tool in the next video, and this will give you better data and better information, but it's a lot better to brainstorm a little bit, kind of get an idea of what you're looking for before you use the Audience Insights tool. Because by doing this, this will allow your mind to open up and you'll start seeing things. So lifestyle, culture, location. One thing and one big mistake that a lot of people make is when they start running ads is that they focus on a specific person, but they don't think about what that person is thinking. So if you're targeting a specific location, then you need to start thinking about culture. You need to start thinking about what they're thinking and all that. You may not have 100%, but by imagining and by kind of getting the data of what their lifestyle looks like and all of that, you will better speak to that person. In other words, you'll be able to speak to that person. That person will feel like, wow, you're speaking directly to me, and your conversions will get better. So based on all this information, what you want to do is kind of get an idea, and then the process is you begin to run ads based on this information, and then based on the ads and the Facebook and what the data that they give you, you buy data, and the data tells you exactly what that person looks like. And that's something that you can't really do with search engine optimization or other types of traffic. And that's the beauty of Facebook ads. So once you figure out exactly who is clicking on your ads and what kind of interest that they are targeted in or grouped by, it'll make your life a lot easier. So now let's take all this information and in practical terms, let me show you the Facebook Audience Insights tool and how to use it to get the right data. Hello and welcome to video number 4. We're going to talk about Facebook Audience Insights. This is basically a free tool that is available to anyone who has a Facebook account. And this is a very valuable tool because what Facebook is doing is it's giving you direct access to a lot of its data, which is very, very important. And it enables you to figure out a lot more about who you're targeting. So to give you some practical examples, let's head on over to the tool and show you all of it in action. Okay, so to get to Facebook Audience Insights, you'll need to go to business.facebook.com. You'll need to log in to your personal Facebook profile, and you'll need to set that up if you haven't. And after that, you'll need to click on the top, go to Audience Insights, and here we are. So what this allows you to do is, like I said, it allows you to enter a location, an age and gender, specific interests. And if you have a page, and let's say, for example, the page is highly populated or at least has a couple thousand people, you'll be able to figure out who exactly is inside that Facebook page in terms of demographics. Now, if you don't have a page, no big deal. I'm going to show you how to use a tool so that you can find the right information about the person that you're trying to target. Okay, so up at the top, we have location. I'm going to keep it at United States, but if you click this X here, you can actually change it to something else like Australia, like that. But in this case, we're going to do United States. And the next thing you can do is age and gender. So if you're targeting a niche, let's say that is mainly women, then you're going to want to click women here. But if it's mainly men, you want to click men here. And of course, if you're trying to target everybody, then it can be all, male and female. And if it's a specific age group, you can select the minimum age group. So let's say that we want to target anybody from 30 and up. So 30 and up. So this can be any. We can change this to 30 to 65 plus. And then of course we have interest. Now, what I like to do is I usually like to start with the smallest amount. So 18 to any and all. Because what I want to do is not assume that I know who the demographic is, unless I have had previous sales and a lot of the sales were just male, or a lot of the sales were just female. So bear in mind your niche, you know your niche better. So what I like to start out with is interest. So to kind of stick with what we were talking about earlier, if we type in scuba and we have scuba diving here, we see that this is an interest, and up at the top we have 4 million to about 4.5 million people who are interested in scuba diving in the United States, and that are all ages and all genders. Now, this is really interesting about Facebook. In order for them to be put into a specific interest, they have to have gone to websites that are related to scuba diving. So you can get more specific if you enter that in here. Now, if we take a look at demographics, you can see that about 56% are men and 44% are women. So we see that the majority appears to be about 25 up. So it's low here, it increases here, and then it decreases down here. So we can kind of gauge that the large amount of people in this interest are 25 to 34 or 25 to 44. Now, bear in mind that doesn't necessarily mean that they are buyers yet, but this helps you paint the picture. Now, if we scroll down a bit, we can see that the majority of these people that are interested in scuba diving are married, and they have at least a college education level. So this is a well-educated group. We can see that the job title, now if I scroll to the right here, this is important because it tells you which one of these are increasing rapidly. Now we can see that production has the most. So it has 21%, and then it's got transport and moving 13%. So what this means is the people who are interested in scuba diving that are in this specific interest have this particular job title. Now, if we scroll up, we can click on page likes, And this is actually very interesting because this allows you to see which pages they like. So for example, we have Jenny Springs, the specific clothing brand they're interested in, Salt Life and Grunt Style, clothing store. We can see outdoors and sporting goods company, Bass Pro Shops they're interested in. They're interested in a lot of outdoors type shops, websites, musicians they're interested in, TV shows that they like, so Duck Dynasty. So imagine being able to target, let's say, males from ages 25 and up, or maybe 25 to 45, who like Duck Dynasty and scuba diving. So you can create these conditional targets and target people specifically. So we go through, we see page likes, we can go visit the pages and take a look at what they like and get an idea of how they're interacting with the page, what content are they viewing, and all that. Now, if we scroll back to the top, we click on location. This allows us to see the top cities. So we can see Tampa, Florida, Honolulu, Hawaii. So a lot of Florida and Hawaii here, which kind of makes sense because Hawaii and Florida both have a lot of beaches, a lot of places to scuba dive. And then we have top countries, top languages. So we got English. So bear in mind that because we are targeting the United States, that it's really only showing cities, countries, and languages within the United States. Now, if I were to make this worldwide, this would broaden our spectrum. So if you click on activity, we can get a better view of how people are interacting with this niche, what kind of devices they're using. They're using mainly mobile devices, iPhones, and Androids. So we can see that a lot of them are not at desktop, which kind of gives us an idea that because these are outdoorsy people, they're most likely not going to be surfing on the inside or in their house, basically. So now let's take all this information and let's create an avatar in the next video. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 5, and we're going to talk about creating an avatar profile. So essentially what we're doing here is we're taking all the data that we did in the previous video and writing it all down. Okay, so what I want you to do is simply pull out a piece of paper or a notepad, whatever makes you feel like you're organizing, and let's jot things down. So like I said earlier, this is not set in stone. It's just giving you a better idea of who you could be targeting. So if we take a look at here, remember I started with any age and any gender, but we can see 55% of women on Facebook, 45% of men in Facebook. But we can see that in general, it seems like the most is men. But it does seem like it's 50-50, so we're just going to stick with both. Now, like I said, we see 25 to 34 as the age. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 25, like so. And we can kind of get us an idea that this is the majority, and then it kind of sinks down here. So let's just say we're going to start with this group here. And let's end it at 54. And now we have about 2.5 to about 3 million. So let's click on page likes. Now before that, let me go ahead and jot things down. So location in this case is going to be the United States. The age is going to be 25 to 54. The gender is going to be all. And in this case, the interest is going to be scuba diving. So all you're doing is simply jotting down what you see. All right, so scrolling down here, we have relationship status. The majority are married with a college level education. So married, say relationship, and education, and job title. And remember, we see that the majority is production. So we're going to type in production, veterans, installation, repairs, etc. And the job title is not necessarily something that we're worried about right now. Most of the time, you're just going to target the location, the age, the gender, and the interest. And you can get more specific by targeting married. So we could target these. And then based on that information, we'll know more later. So let's scroll back to the top. And we'll go to page likes. And let's jot this down. So we've got clothing store. They like the 9-line apparel. And then they got Ray. They like Bass Pro Shops, which is not a clothing store, but it's a store. What products do they buy? What services do they use? What websites do they visit? What TV shows do they watch? So they watch the National Geographic. They like to visit All Recipes. And then we've got page likes. So what's the difference between this and this? So this is page likes, and these are actual categories that they're interested in. So we got page likes, we've got Jenny Springs, Salt Life, 9-line apparel. Now, what you're going to see here is relevance. Relevance basically means that in relation to scuba diving, how closely are these audience related? So obviously, the further you get away, from how close they are to that interest. The closer you are to that interest, if that makes sense. So we have affinity level, which basically tells you how close they are to the audience that you're looking for. And the closer they are, the easier it is to target them, right? So it's always good to start with the ones closest to the top. So now remember, we saw location. We saw a lot of Florida, and we saw a lot of Hawaii. And then in terms of activity and devices, we saw that a lot of them use mobile devices. So iPhone, Android, etc. Now, you can further create this avatar profile. Another method is by going to google.com and looking for magazines. So why magazines? Well, if you flip through the magazine and you go through to the advertise page, you'll notice that these magazines have what we call a media rate card. And what this does is a lot of times it'll tell you the exact demographic and the exact avatar that you're trying to target. So let's type in, For the sake of simplicity, we'll type in food magazine, like so. And you can do food magazine advertise. So for example, the Food Network magazine media kit, the Food and Wine magazine. And bear in mind that we are not going to advertise on these networks necessarily. You can if you want to, but this will give us a better idea of the demographic. So essentially, a lot of these magazine companies, they want you to advertise. So in order to get you to advertise, they're going to provide you with the demographic information. So we can see here, besides this data here, sometimes if you scroll further down, it'll tell you stuff like this, like adults, it looks like mainly women, about probably 70% women or 90% women actually. It tells you the age group. So the majority are 18 and above, how much money they earn, if they have children, are they married, are they employed, what is their education level. So what I would do is I would go to Google and type in whatever your niche is, space, magazine, space, advertise. And most likely you'll be able to find this information. So food and wine, for example. If we go to the advertise, it'll give you an idea of who you're targeting. So audience right here, we can go and take a look at the audience profile and match it with the Food Network one and get a better idea of the patterns that show up. What are things that are consistent throughout, essentially? So that's another method that you can use. You don't have to, but I just wanted to give you more so that you can kind of target people in a more specific manner. So go ahead, write things down and keep it saved on your computer. Hello and welcome to video number 6, and we're going to talk about the important Facebook ad rules. This is very, very important because, like I said earlier, if you do not follow Facebook rules, you can easily get banned and it's very hard to get an ad account back. All right, so we want to make sure that we really go through the Facebook ad policy with a fine tooth. I'm going to show you a few things that are very important that you really need to pay close attention to, because at the end of the day, Facebook cares more about their customers, which essentially are their users, than you as the advertiser. Because if they offend their users, guess what? Word's going to spread and they're not going to want that. So we want to make sure that we do not offend people according to Facebook's rules. All right, so let's dive in. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to head on over to facebook.com/policies/ads. That's facebook.com/policies/ads. Okay, so when you get to this, you're going to see a lot of advertising policies, and you want to go through these. I know this is boring, but this is very important because if you don't follow Facebook rules, they will simply ban you, and that will be tough. And what we've seen in the past is even if you do the right thing sometimes, even if you make a little bit mistake, you can get banned or your ad account deleted. So Facebook is very, very, very a big stickler to rules. One big rule is how you talk to people. You don't want to say things like you're going to lose weight in a certain amount of days. You don't want to make these claims. So I'm going to show you in a second how to write your ads. So this is a good way to figure out what Facebook likes, what Facebook doesn't like. So policies, it says our advertising policies, sexually suggested content, Facebook brands. So what we want to do is we want to open these up in new windows. Okay, so personal attributes. This is big. Basically, Facebook does not like it when you point people out and say, hey, you're this, right? So you want to be as indirect as possible Because Facebook is so powerful in the sense that you can target people of a specific race, education, gender, age, interest, and all of that, you have to be careful. So basically it says policy, ads must not contain content that asserts or implies a person's race, ethnic origin, religion, beliefs, age, sexual orientation, mental status, financial status, or anything. So what's nice about this is Facebook gives you some examples. So it says, for example, add creative that describes or shows the promoted product or service. So you can talk about your product and service all you want, but what you cannot do is refer to somebody and basically say, hey, meet so-and-so. So for example, race. You can say, meet Hispanic men online now, or find black singles today. Because what this does is it doesn't apply or imply that you are that race. So for example, it says, meet other certain race singles near you. So what this implies is that you are black because it says the other. So you can't say meet other, whatever race, singles near you, because it implies that race. Or religion, it says date Christian singles, or looking for Buddhists near you. Meet Hindu singles online now. So this doesn't imply that you are this race. If you say, are you Christian? That's a surefire way to get banned. And age, same thing, meet seniors. It doesn't imply that. You can, when you say meet other seniors, the word other or are you, that implies that person's demographic and they do not like that. So like here, are you gay? Are you a lesbian? You have to be careful about that. Facebook does not like that. They really don't like that. Okay, so this is a big part of the policy. So make sure you go through that and make sure that when you write your ad copy that you comply with these policies. And then we have adult content. They definitely do not like nudity, implied nudity. They don't like anything that shows anything sexual in nature, abs, buttocks, chest. Even though it might not be offensive to you, it's definitely offensive to Facebook because they don't want to offend anyone. All right. Sexually explicit content. Even though it may not be nude, it's portraying excessive nudity like this. Just even a chest or even a statue. So the statue's okay. It's a statue, so that's fine. But real life sexuality or a sexual nature is not okay. So what you need to do is go through the prohibited content, make sure that you're not in there. Weapons, third-party infringement, personal attributes, and all that. So I know this takes time, but you're going to be thankful in the future. Because when you get an account banned or deleted, that's just a headache. Another thing is brand usage in ads. They don't like it when you use other people's brands. If it's your brand, that's okay. But if you use something like Coca-Cola's brand in your ads, that means it's going to be a legal lawsuit against them. And they don't want that. All right. So they don't want to deal with that. So if we go back to the first page, we can see the ad review process. So we can get an idea of how they review ads. So it says during the ad review process, we'll check ads, images, text, targeting, and positioning. Now, usually by default, the Facebook robot will essentially approve your ad. But over time, you might be getting a manual review, which means an actual human may be reviewing your ad. Now, sometimes if you get your ads disapproved and you know you've read through and you've complied with those rules, then you can request a manual review, or you can contact them via support as well. So make sure you read through it is basically the gist of this video. Hello and welcome to video number 7. We're going to talk about the Facebook tracking code, which is known as the Facebook Pixel. This code is very important. It's not just a code that you place on your website, but this piece of code can track everything that goes on in your funnel, from people landing on your landing page, your opt-in page, to subscribing, to your thank you page, to your add to cart, to your purchase page, your thank you page, and all of that. And what it allows you to do is it allows Facebook to figure out who your ideal customer is. Now, obviously, you need to do what we call training the pixel first and foremost, which basically means that you are telling it, based on the data that you're sending it, who's a customer, who's not a customer, and how Facebook is able to go throughout its database to find the customers. So the pixel is very powerful. It can do many different things, more than what we just talked about. But let's dive in and let's show you what it's all about. Okay, so to create a Facebook pixel, all you need to do is simply go to business.facebook.com, log in, and up at the top, click the menu, and this will drop down. And then you'll want to click on All Tools, or put your mouse over this, and click on Pixels. Once you've done that, you will reach this page. And this page will show you all of your Facebook pixels. Bear in mind that you can create as many pixels as you want, but for the sake of this example, we'll just create one pixel. So what you need to do is when it says add new data source, click this here. And also keep in mind that Facebook changes their user interface a lot of times, like every single week. So what you want to do is if it does change, look for the Facebook pixel creation. So we're going to click on add new data source, click on Facebook pixel. And the next thing we'll do is click on pixel name. So we'll call this scuba diving pixel. You can enter their website URL if you want to, but you don't have to. It's optional. Click create. And Facebook will create the pixel. Now it's time to get the pixel. So Facebook is going to give you different options. You can connect to a specific partner platform if you want to just go ahead and install it there. But for the most part, you're probably not going to be using this. So you want to manually install the pixel code yourself. You can email the instructions to a developer if you have one, but if you don't, click this one here right here. So now it's going to say locate the header code for your website. And up at the top, when you're editing your HTML or you're using something like Lead Pages or ClickFunnels or another landing page builder, you want to enter the script in the head code. So this is going to be the pixel right here. So we're going to click this here and it immediately copies it and we click continue. Now, Facebook has what we call events. And what events are basically parts of your funnel. You can tell it, okay, if somebody lands on your first page, you can call it a lead. If somebody fills in their email and their name to get perhaps a lead magnet or a freebie, you can send them to the next page, which could be the thank you page. So what events allow you to do is it allows you to track everything through the funnel. But in order to get that to work, you need to insert the pixel into your HTML or your website page. Now, to give you a good idea of the events, if you go here, it'll give you some ideas of different events that you can track. So you can track view content, search, add to cart. So if somebody adds an item to the cart, you can add the pixel code on the cart page so that you can track that data. You can track the purchase. So if you click that, you can see it gives you the script code right here and tells you how to track it. So the script code is FBQ track and then the word purchase. Now you're going to see a pattern here. If you take a look at subscribe, for example, it says FBQ track subscribe. So basically the second word here is replaced by that particular event. So we can scroll back to the top here, view content, that's FBQ, and the second word is just view content. So all you need to do is simply add that to your Pixel code. Okay, so we're not going to dive too much into this. We're going to move to the next video and show you how to set up your ads. Hello and welcome to video number 8. Let's talk about ad campaigns and how to set them up and all of that. Okay, so to get to Facebook Ads Manager, up at the top, click on the menu, click on Ads Manager, and you'll get this page. And you'll want to click on campaigns if it doesn't go there immediately. The next thing you want to do is simply click the green Create button, like so. And here we go. So we have campaign, and the campaign specifies the objective. The ad set specifies the specific page, the audience, basically who you're trying to target. And then of course the ad is going to be the creative ad, the images, the text, the headline, and all of that. So the campaign is this video. So most of you are going to be using traffic or engagement. You're not going to use app installs unless you have an app. You won't use video views unless you have a video. And then we've got messages, lead generation, brand awareness, and reach. So knowing your objective is key. If you click on traffic, you're going to see that you can target conversions. Now, conversions can be anything from a purchase where somebody pays money versus something like a lead where somebody fills in their email and their name and they give you something so that you give them a lead magnet or a freebie in exchange. So that can be conversions. And then of course, engagement can be in the form of a post engagement. So if you want stuff like comments, shares, likes to a specific post, you would choose that and click on continue. Or if you want to grow your Facebook fan page and get more page likes, you would click this one right here. Now, for the sake of showing you how to set up a Facebook ad to the fullest extent, we're going to be using traffic and conversions. So we're going to click that. You want to name the campaign to something that's generic or general to whatever you're promoting. Don't worry about any of these for now. These are more advanced. Click continue. And there we go. So campaign's easy. It's merely setting the objective and that's it. The next step is the ad set, which is going to be the targeting, essentially who you're targeting. And that's why we did all the demographic research beforehand. So now we can enter that in here. So with that said, let's move on to the next video. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 9. Let's talk about ad sets. So earlier we talked about campaigns. Within campaigns, we have ad sets, and within ad sets, we have ads. So within ad sets, you're able to tell Facebook who you want to target. So having that avatar profile on hand is crucial for this part. So with that said, let's dive in. Okay, so like I said, in ad set, you have the ability to change the ad set name. So within a campaign, you can have several different ad sets. And so for example, if you're doing scuba diving, you could do an ad set for just males or just females, or males of a specific age or females of a specific age or specific interests. You could target specific jobs. So they could be different ad sets. And that's what it is. So what you would do here is you would click this here. You would choose the specific product that you're promoting in the pixel. Now, what dynamic creative is it says provide individual assets like images, headlines, and it'll automatically optimize. So in layman terms, what that means is, let's say, for example, that you upload in the ad 3 different images, 3 different texts, 3 different headlines, and 3 different call to actions. What Facebook is going to do is it's going to create all different variations of those combinations. It's going to run the ads, and it's going to figure out of those ads, which text, which headline converts the best, which image converts the best, and it's going to run the traffic to that ad. So instead of you trying to figure that out, you allow Facebook's very smart algorithm to figure that out. So in order to do that, you would select Dynamic Creative and click Continue. Now, for the sake of simplicity, we're not going to do that right here. But that's there if you want to. Now, offer, it says drive more conversions by creating an offer people can save and get reminders about. So you can do that as well here. Next, we have audience. So like we said earlier, one cool thing is if you go to Audience Insights and you do the research, you can actually save that audience and then you can select the audience here. All right, so use a saved audience. Now, we're going to do everyone in the United States from the ages, remember we saw 25 to about 54. Like so. Now, because we're in the United States, language we can leave blank. Now, detailed targeting. This would include the interest. So this could be scuba diving. Now, let me delete that. We selected the employers, so make sure that you choose the right one. So we can see interest. It has 28 million people. That's a good sign. And we're going to uncheck that. We're going to leave it at automatic placements, daily budget, conversions. So what this is going to do is it's going to optimize for conversions. Now, conversion window. What this means is you have 1-day click or 7-day click. Basically, in essence, usually you choose 1-day click if somebody clicks through to your ad and they make a purchase. If it takes them a long time or a long period to click through, then you want to do 7 days click. Now you can read more about this and how it works over here. So next thing we want to do is click continue. And that's it. So now we have created our ad set. So as you can imagine, you can create multiple ad sets, as you saw, because it's 29 million for scuba diving. I can split that up and do one ad set for male, one ad set for females, one ad set maybe for Hawaii, one ad set maybe for Florida. So you can have several different ad sets and then figure out which one works the best. So now let's talk about the ad, which is the next video. Congratulations, you've reached the end of this course. This is video number 10. And in this video, we're going to talk about ads. So now you can take your creatives, your images, your text, your headlines, your sales copy essentially for your ad, and we can set that up within the ad level. So to give you more practical information, let's dive in and jump over to Facebook. Okay, so this is the ad, and what you want to do first is up at the top, you're going to want to choose the Facebook fan page that you're going to advertise from. Next, right here, you're going to select the Instagram profile if you have one. If you don't, and you're not advertising to Instagram, don't worry about it. The next thing is format, which is different types of ways that Facebook will show your ad. So you can show your ad via multiple images in a carousel format. You can show one image like most of you are used to, or a video, or a group of items that opens into a full screen mobile experience. And most of you are going to use this one or this one. So this one is a single image or a video. So all you have to do is select that and scroll down. So you have the opportunity to choose an image or a video. Now, like I said, if you did choose the dynamic creative, then it will give you the opportunity to add multiple ads or multiple images or multiple videos. So you can upload the image that you have access to, or you can select free stock images. Now, at this point, you could select your account, your page, your Instagram, and what it'll do is it'll pull the images from those assets. So we typed in scuba, we could select one of these images. It says watermark won't appear in the final image. So that's good. So even though you see the watermark, it will not appear in the final image. We'll click continue, and it'll say enter the text for your ad. You can enter the text here. So the text is essentially going to appear at the top of your image. So if we take a look at one of the ad previews here, so when you see the ad, it's going to appear above the image, this right here. The website URL that you want to send them to is going to be here, and the headline is going to be right here. So you can, if you enter the website URL, display the URL here. And then you have the headline, you have the call to action, which appears to the further right. Let's see if we can move that over, but it's going to be on the right hand side. So the call to action can be learn more, apply now, book now, contact us. So it really depends on your offer, and you can go from there. And there we go. Now you can enter a display link, a newsfeed link description, but oftentimes we leave these blank. You got URL parameters. If you're not familiar with this, don't enter anything here. Basically, this allows you to track if you have a tracking system. And that's it.